It used to be a given that if you took a cruise, you would get a free, luxurious lobster dinner sometime on your voyage at no additional cost. Well, times have changed, and in the last couple of years, cruise lines have added restrictions and sometimes extra charges for the cruisers that want to enjoy this crustacean delicacy. There are so many questions surrounding Lobster Night these days, like, which cruise lines still offer Lobster Night? Is my cruise going to have Lobster Night? What kind of lobsters do they serve? And how many lobster tails can I get? Well, I've got you covered. I'm going to answer all of these questions and more. Oh, and you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to talk about some of the more creative lobster dishes that cruise lines make.
Lobster thermidor.
And I'm going to give you options to still get lobster on your cruise, even if your cruise ship doesn't offer Maine dining room lobster night. Let's get into it. First things first. The good news is most of the major cruise lines do still have lobster night under certain circumstances. I will have the specific information for Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Carnival, Princess, MSC, Holland America, Norwegian, and Disney. A popular question around this topic is, what kind of lobster is served on cruise ships? In the fascinating world of lobsters, there are cold water lobsters and warm water lobsters. In the chilly depths of the Atlantic Ocean, you'll find the iconic Maine lobster with its striking red color and formidable claws. This is the celebrity of lobsters, the one that adorns the tables of lobster aficionados around the world. But hold on, because when you get into the realm of the warm water lobsters, things get a little bit spiky. Literally. These smaller, spikier cousins may not have the imposing claws of their cold water counterparts, but what they lack in size, they make up for in flavor and flair. They're the rock stars of cruise ship cuisine, dazzling diners with their unique appearance and subtle yet delicious taste. They have softer meat that practically melts in your mouth. So whether you're team cold water or team warm water, there's no denying that lobster night is gonna captivate your taste buds and make for a really special night on your cruise adventure. Cruise ships almost exclusively serve warm water lobsters. In fact, it's been reported that people have seen Maine lobster listed on the menu, but when they get served the lobster, they're pretty sure that that's actually a Caribbean spiky lobster. So let's crack open the shell and get to the meat of why you guys are probably here. You want to know, does your cruise have lobster night? Well, first for the bad news. If you're on a Norwegian cruise or a Holland America cruise, you just don't have lobster night. Norwegian has really just never embraced lobster night, and since the pandemic, Holland America is reported to not have lobster night anymore. And as for MSC, lobster night is exclusively for their elite yacht club members. But if you're on a 6-night or longer cruise with any of the other major cruise companies, pull out your lobster bib. You can expect that beautiful lobster to be served in the main dining room on your second formal night. And hey, if you're on a shorter cruise, stick around to the end of this video because we're going to talk about ways that you can still get some lobster on your cruise. Each cruise line has its own set of rules surrounding lobster night. Let's cruise through the details. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, who are owned by the same company, have lobster night on the second formal night dinner of the cruise. On Royal Caribbean, this is called formal night. But on the more modern and sassy Celebrity cruise line, it's called chic night. You are invited to dress to the nines on this special night. Gentlemen, don't forget your lobster bib, otherwise you might end up with an unwanted butter stain on your best formal night tie. However, if formal wear isn't your thing, don't worry. The only requirements are pants and a collared shirt, and a similarly nice outfit for the ladies. As for how many tails you can get, well, it was not too long ago that you could order as many lobster tails as you wanted. But last year, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity decided they were going to put a $16.99 charge on every tail after your first. The popular party line Carnival calls their formal night Elegant Night. And on the second elegant night of your cruise, you're going to find lobster on that main dining room menu. Carnival generously gives you up to 2 lobster tails for free, but if you want a third or more, it's going to be $8 per tail. It seems everybody has an opinion about MSC Cruise Lines. Some good, some not so good. As far as lobster night goes on MSC Cruise Line, they reserve that for their elite passengers only. If you're an elite yacht club member on MSC Cruise Lines, and you're on a cruise longer than 1 week, you will have a lobster tail served to you in the Yacht Club members restaurant. And if you want extra tails, you're gonna have to pay for it, but if you're in the Yacht Club, you can probably afford it anyway. The premium cruise line for kids. On Disney Cruises, Lobster Night, otherwise known as the Captain's Gala Dinner, is a standard offering on cruises with an itinerary of 7 nights or longer. It will be offered when you dine in Triton, Royal Palace, or Lumiere on that second half of the cruise. And get this, it has been reported as recently as last year that you can still get as many additional lobster tails as you want at no extra charge. On the luxurious Princess Cruise Line, you will get Lobster Night on the second formal night of the cruise. I was just recently on the Sapphire Princess, and I can tell you from experience, you don't want to miss Lobster Night here. This lobster tail was bigger and tastier than any I've had on a cruise ship before. If you want to get more lobster tails on Princess Cruises, it's going to be $10 a piece for additional tails. I hope you found out that your cruise has a lobster night. My wife and I absolutely love lobster night on the cruises we go on. You really can't beat a free lobster dinner. But hey, if you're on a shorter cruise or on Norwegian Cruise Line, there's still some hope for you to get some of that fresh lobster meat on your cruise. As promised, here are some alternatives to the traditional lobster night and Maine dining. On Carnival Cruise at the Seafood Shack, you can get a lobster roll or a lobster BLT for $12. You can get lobster by the pound at market price. On the Sea Day Brunch, you can get lobster eggs Benedict. I'd love to try that. And at the Sterling Steakhouse Premium Restaurant, you can get $49 surf and turf or lobster tail. On Celebrity Cruises, any night at Maine Dining for $16.99, you can get yourself a lobster tail. Or for $34.99, you can get surf and turf. For those of you that don't know, surf and turf is a beautiful thing. It is a nice steak served alongside of a lobster tail. On Princess Cruises, there's a lot of options to get lobster outside of just lobster night on the cruise ship. Every night at dinner, you can get a lobster tail for $14.99. They have lobster mac and cheese at the Salty Dog restaurant. Or you can pay a cover charge and go to the Catch restaurant and get surf and turf. And finally, even on Norwegian Cruise Lines, you can get some lobster if you go to the Haven Specialty Restaurant, where at lunchtime they serve lobster bisque, and at dinner they serve lobster deviled eggs, or my favorite, surf and turf. With all these options, you should have no problem filling that lobster craving on your cruise. And hey, just a heads up, if you want to see more delicious cruise ship food, check out this video about our time on the Princess Sapphire. We review our lobster night, and we talk about some of the other exquisite meals that we had on our 18-day South American cruise. Always remember, no matter which destination you choose, or which cruise line you're on for your next vacation, adventure awaits.